Okay, kids, it is officially winter and it is cold as all get out outside. We're somewhat decorated for Christmas. We're getting there little by little. What better time to go inside where it's warm and play with eyeshadow? I'm going to work with those two Glamlite palettes. I'll show you how I got these looks and I'll give you my thoughts. We're going to get into it right now inside where it's warm. Okay guys, so it is super cold out today. Like, we just had a cold front come through. We were getting 50, 60 mile an hour gusts, almost like a nor'easter, but it brought us about 2-3 inches of snow. So it's kind of miserable to be outside. So what better time to play with our new palettes than today? Obviously, I'm starting out barefaced and I'm super red today because it is so cold out. The wind's just whipping at your face and it makes you red, and it's fabulous. Dry skin time of the year for sure. But I'm gonna throw foundation on this face and we're gonna get started. Ta-da! So I've got my foundation on, I've primed my eyes, and we're ready to go. I found a photo of something that I wanted to take some inspiration off of. So I was trying to think of something that I could do that was a little different than what I'm used to doing, just because I have so many colors and I want to try both palettes out. So I found this picture of the Aurora Borealis and I was like, that's really beautiful. Maybe we'll do some yellows and greens and blues. And you know, I'm not a fan of blue. I don't particularly like blue eyeshadow on myself, but there's some beautiful blues in here, and I know blues are usually hard to work with. So we're gonna try one eye from one palette, one eye from the other. I wanna see if the formula is indeed a little bit different. Now, if you saw my unboxing video, when I was kind of dabbing my fingers in them, it did seem like the formulas were a tiny bit different. So we're gonna find out. And we're gonna find out whether you need both of them, or if one of them will work, or if you're just like me and you wanted both of them, because there are color variations. I'm gonna do the right eye with this palette and the left eye with this palette. So anyways, we're gonna start off with the yellow base on both sides. So I've got my color changer here, and what I'm gonna try and do is use the same brush for both shades. Now, I'm not trying to like cross-contaminate formula or anything like that, and usually this does a really good job of getting the color out so that I can use the same brush. So if you have one, you know they work really, really well, actually. So I primed my eyes with the CoverGirl lid lockup because it is pretty tacky. I didn't powder over it because I want to keep that tacky base, hopefully. And the way that I think I'm going to do this is kind of go from a yellow to green to the deeper blue. Who knows, maybe I'll throw a little bit of purple in there. In my little palette, I'm going to go in with low ochre right here. Now, this is more of an orangey yellow than in the other palette. So I may come out of this looking quite interesting, but it's okay. Here's the regular yellow in this palette. It's gonna be upside down, so don't mind that. But see how much more orange the yellow in the smaller palette is? That's what I'm referring to when I'm talking about that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this color, remember, small palette on this side, larger palette on this side. So we're gonna lay down a yellow foundation, and I'm just gonna swipe this all over my top lid because honestly, all of the colors that are gonna come on top of it, I wanna have that gradient anyways because I want it to fade into a green to blue. So it's okay to put the yellow on the whole lid. How's that looking on camera? It looks nice in real life, but it does look a little patchy on camera. I don't know if that's the base, honestly, the CoverGirl lid lockup. You know. All right, I've just color switched, and then I'm going into the yellow in the original larger paint palette. And you can tell it is a little bit darker on this side, but not dramatically, I would say. I know, I'm just going right up there to the eyebrow. Sometimes you just gotta live life on the edge, you know? I'm gonna try and keep this fair because this palette has this lime green in it. The other palette doesn't. And for the sake of legitimate comparison, I'm not gonna use the lime green. Instead, I'm gonna go in with this Viridian Green right here. It's more of a teal color. I know, this one only has the regular green. Okay, so there's Viridian Green and there's regular green. And that looks a lot more blue on camera than it does in real life, just so you know. I'm gonna take a medium-sized fluffy brush and go into this Viridian Green on this side. That picked up a lot of product. That is beautiful color. It seems to be blending in quite nicely with that yellow, and I'm just gonna get some of that color off and blend a little bit more here. All right, getting this squared away for the other color. Now, it does look like there's a tiny bit of green on there, but that really wouldn't even register, see? So let's go into the green and the Glamlite palette here. This one does not seem like it has as much pigment, or it's not the same formula. Or maybe my palette is old. But I will tell you, I like that blend better. Of course, again, my eyes have different shape on both eyes. But I think this one actually blended better than this one. But this one is brighter and more pigmented. Don't get me wrong. They both have a nice blend. I think this one is creating a better gradient. And this one's just more vivid. It's a more noticeable line of demarcation, I guess, between the pigments. So I guess it's all in what you're looking for out of an eyeshadow palette. So next on this eye, I'm gonna go in with Azure. On the other eye, I'm gonna go in with Royal Blue. So Azure and Royal Blue. And I'm gonna use my little Pac-Man Wet n Wild packing brush for this, because I like this brush. It does work really well. Well, that blended out very fast. Really fast. Like, I didn't really do anything to that. Let me see how that looks. It looks pretty. I like it. It looks pretty on camera for sure. It literally just like took 2 seconds. That was fast. All right, now into the Royal Blue on this side. See, that blue seems like it's more pigmented, but it is a deeper blue than the Azure, but not by much. I'm gonna get some of the excess off of here and just try and blend this out a little bit better. I feel like I'm losing some of the yellow on this side, and it feels like it's muddying up strangely. But when I look at it face on, it looks pretty, and you can see that gradient. I know, wrinkly eyes. What can I say? It's all good. Okay, so here are my first thoughts, like just initially. The newer, smaller palette, the formula does feel different, like bizarrely, because I would think that it would be consistent. But that being said, the formula is good in the old palette too. So I'm having a difficult time deciding whether I'm happy that the new palette has more pigment and the color payoff is there right away faster, or whether I prefer the older palette, which seems to have less pigment, but it blends, it seems to blend nicely. Okay, that's my initial thoughts. Moving right along. In the little palette on the right side, I'm gonna use this cobalt blue on my outer V right here, and on the new palette, I'm gonna go in with this color Sapphire right here. And I'm just gonna use my fingers because, or you know what? I got some new applicators. I'm gonna use these because I don't care what anybody says. These work, and that's all there is to it. If you have $2 and you wouldn't put on shimmer eyeshadow, these work. They're good. Don't let anybody tell you any different. It's that elitist thing. It drives me nuts. So let's do this. It did leave a little bit of glittery fallout. That's to be expected. Let's see what it does. But we can always go back over it with our sponge and just kind of like clean it up with our sponge, because that works. Going into Sapphire, yeah, I can almost barely see that on here. I guess you can. All right. Yeah, that is substantially darker for sure. I think our work is done here. It's not really. All right, so I'm gonna, on this side, so here's the thing. The white colors on these are so radically different. Like this one, I don't know if you can see that. It has like this mint green, pinky blue. It's almost like a multi-chrome-ish duo. It's almost like a multi-chrome, I'd say. But the white on this one is like a gold. So I'm just gonna use the white on both of them and you'll see the difference. I mean, that's what we're gonna do. There it is. Oh, and this one is so soft. I'm just letting you know, it's really soft. So just be careful with it, I guess. I'm gonna try and disperse the color a little bit on my thing here because I know I'm gonna have fallout galore. Yep, there it is. See it? Dude, the fallout issue with this is really, really real. It is a beautiful color. Look at what it's doing to that blue. I mean, that is a spectacularly beautiful color, but it is Fallout City. Look at that. I know you can see that. I know you can. It's like on my shirt, literally, right here. Yeah, be careful with that color because it is Fallout-y. Is that a word? That's not a word. I know it's not. You get my point. It is all over my face. And now I have a blue streak. All right, now we're gonna go into the white and the other side and you'll see what I'm talking about where they're radically, radically different colors. And this one is not as soft. It is still a tiny bit soft, but not like that other one. See what I mean? Not nearly as much fallout by a long shot. But I'll tell you, this one kind of automatically blended itself into that blue, whereas this one I'm gonna have to go back in with a brush and blend it in. Okay, and I'm just gonna take my little teeny tiny brush and I'm gonna do the inner corner in the same colors that I used for the inside of my eye. Okay, I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna put on some eyeliner. And by the way, I have used the eyeliner that came with the palettes and so far I really, really, really like it. It's very good. When they say it's waterproof, there is no lie. Use like an eye makeup remover to remove this. And at that, you need to let that stuff, like take your cotton pad, take your eye makeup remover and just let it soak for like 30-40 seconds. And then this stuff will come off because whew, it is stuck on there for life. So I'm gonna get off camera, do my eyeliner, do my mascara, do the rest of my face, and I will be right back. Okay kids, here's the finished look. So again, right eye, your left eye is the small palette. Left eye, your right eye is the big palette. Let me know which one you like better. Honestly, like which look do you like better? New palette, old palette? Because I'm kind of curious myself. Like, okay, so here are my thoughts. If you have one, I don't really think that you need the other one. That being said, I mean, obviously you are getting some different colors in here. Like the first palette is clearly primary colors. I mean, if you want to make a look, any kind of look, you can use this palette and with the primary colors in it, you can make the color that you're looking for, except there's no white. And that's what I was making a comment about in my unboxing, is that neither one of these palettes have a white. It would have been really nice for them to have included a white, because if you had this palette and it had a regular white, a decent matte white, you could make all these colors with this palette. No, you don't need both of them. It really depends on what you're looking for out of the palette. I'm gonna scoot back. All right, so in my opinion, the mattes in here are a creamier, more pigmented formula. with the shimmers, you get like these duochrome shimmers in here, and they're beautiful. I mean, if you want your stuff to be like super high payoff and highly pigmented and not have to worry about the payoff, this is your palette. But just be aware, with higher pigmented palettes, sometimes you get that circumstance where you're blending and blending and blending and blending in order to get that gradient that you want achieved. With this one, I don't think the color payoff is as strong, but I feel like the gradient is better. And you can tell, like, my eye is starting to lower a little bit. That hooded thing is coming into play right now, but I feel like the gradient between the yellow, the green, and the blue is better than on here, which this one was actually, it's starting, you're kind of starting to lose that green a little bit. Like the blue's kind of taking over. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense or not. Anyways, you don't need both palettes to achieve a very similar look. That being said, I am glad that I got both palettes, especially when I did, because I got them Black Friday. They were on sale as the bundle. So for both palettes and the eyeliner, I paid $58.65, which is really, really good when you consider that for one Norvina palette, you're paying $60. I paid $60 for my Norvina palette. I love my Norvina palette. I love the color story, but I'll tell you, I don't think the formula is any better than either one of these palettes. I really think the formula is great on these palettes. And if you're into bright colors, I say go for it. You know, I think if you really do like bright colors, you'll love either one of them. Anyways, that's the comparison. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know whether you like the new palette eye or the old palette eye. And I will see you on my next video. Thank you so much for joining me. And again, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more like this, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, and it'll let you know every time that I upload. We need to get together and do this again sometime. We'll see you later. Bye. Bye, bye, bye.